Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Tolhurst and welcome to my latest YouTube video. And yes, this video is going to be concentrating on the Formula 1 action which will be taking place at Brazil this weekend. And this video is talking about the Brazilian Grand Prix and about what is the Brazilian Grand Prix. Obviously this year's event is called the Sal Paulo Grand Prix. And obviously you can watch all of the action available on Formula 1. But the Brazilian Grand Prix for Formula 1 will be this weekend. We've got the sprint qualifying taking place tomorrow as well. The sprint race for F1 qualifying was today. Mercedes were fastest in qualifying today as well. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen going head to head in that. As well, and obviously FP1 as well. Mercedes were again quickest. But of course, this track, Brazil, the Autodromo Internacional de Carlos Pache, it's actually named after a former Brazilian driver called Carlos Pache, used to race in F1. I believe during the 1970s. Of course, used to race when Jody Scheckter was racing as well at the time. And yes, the track's been named after him. It is also known as Interlagos. We call it Interlagos. I call it Interlagos. It's a track that we're all familiar with. And it's only one of a few anti-clockwise circuits on the F1 calendar, actually. This circuit is anti-clockwise. The reason it's anti-clockwise is because the pit building is not located on the right hand side, is located on the left hand side of the track. And obviously if pole position is located on the dirty side of the grid, that usually means the track is clockwise. But because pole position is located on the right hand side, which is the clean side of the grid, and the second place is located on the dirty side of the grid, that makes this an anti-clockwise track. And as well as that, this circuit is very interesting. It's a short lap, 2.7 miles. And it is a fast lap as well. First sector and the final sector are quick. And the middle sector is the technical one, where you go through turns 6, 7, 8, all the way up to turn 12. That is a twisty section of the lap. But it's a potential for overtaking this weekend. And we have seen some memorable races here as well at Sal Paulo. Of course, the Brazilian Grand Prix as well. Is an interesting race, actually. It's a big race for the F1 calendar. Is the Brazilian Grand Prix. Obviously, Interlagos is a track that has hosted the Brazilian Grand Prix many years ago. Opened in 1940, did Interlagos. Would you believe it? Under a completely different name, of course. As well. Hosted the Brazilian Grand Prix 1972. The first time Formula 1 raced there. 1990 was when they updated the track as well. It was redesigned in 1990 with the latest modification as well. It was actually redesigned, so yeah, as well. So yes, it's an interesting venue, guys. Obviously, the track as well, this circuit has been largely unchanged since 1990. Obviously, when it was added back onto the F1 calendar. And obviously, this year as well, 2021 is a big year for the World Championship. But also, as well, it's quite an emotional one because this weekend as well, we're going to be celebrating a very special race. Because it was 30 years ago since Ayrton Senna won his home race in Brazil. It was his first ever win at this circuit. I don't know how many. I'm sure it was his first and only win at Interlagos, but he did win in 1991, despite being stuck in fifth gear for most of the race. Would you believe it? I mean, it was quite incredible. Like Ayrton Senna had a gearbox problem. Riccardo Patrese in the Williams was catching him at a rate of knots towards the midway point of the race when Senna's gearbox started playing up. But Senna was able to drive his McLaren with a manual box as well, believe it or not. He had to do a manual box with a clutch. Drove his car in what I think would be one of the greatest drives ever from a world champion. He would drive that car to victory that year. And I tell you what, the emotion going through his face was pretty incredible. He was so emotional, wasn't Senna? He said, I could not believe it on the team radio. And it was honestly, when I watched that, it was very emotional. And guys, honestly, there's special YouTube videos. You can go and watch that race. I must admit, Murray Walker's said a commentary after that race was pretty emotional. I saw Senna on the podium with the Brazilian flag, barely able to stand. He was extremely exhausted. But it shows you that someone like a home driver can win at his home race and be successful. Obviously, Rubens Barrichello's been unlucky at this track. He's had mechanical woes with Ferrari. But obviously, he did finish. I think his best finish was in 2004. I think he finished third on the podium. So Rubens Barrichello again. He's had unfortunate luck at his home race. Obviously, this track will be remembered for the 2012 race, the championship finale there, which saw Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso fighting for the championship. Vettel got spun round on the first lap, but fought back through the field. I think he finished about 7th, which was enough to clinch him the championship from Fernando Alonso in dry, wet conditions. And that was the Lewis Hamilton's last race from McLaren. Ended up being involved in a collision with Nico Hülkenberg in the Force India, with lap cars getting in the way. And Jenson Button would take his final ever F1 career victory at this venue as well. So, yes, guys, this circuit, the Sal Paulo, it's a very famous F1 track. Used to host the final race in the sport. It hosted the final race, I think, from about 2011 to 2013, and then obviously 2014 it moved to Abu Dhabi, the Yas Marina circuit. So yeah, it's been an interesting track, and this circuit, guys, is very historic. You can visit various sources to want to learn more about the track. There's also lots of F1 videos you can watch as well for the highlights from Brazilian Grand Prix over the years. Also, you've got some classic F1 title battles that you can go and watch as well. But yes, guys, the first time we raced at this track since 2019. This year, of course, 2019, last time out was won by Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, who dominated the race, nailed the restarts, got ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who also got a 5-second time penalty for colliding with Alex Albon. And also, as well, that race saw the first ever podium for Pierre Gasly in an should I say Toro Rosso, now AlphaTauri. Pierre Gasly's first ever F1 podium 2 years ago at this circuit as well. Would you believe it? Gasly taking an unexpected second place after Alex Albon and Lewis Hamilton's late collision. So, and obviously the two Ferraris as well, Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc, colliding with in the dying moments of the race ending. So, yeah, a late safety car can change it up. But yes, guys, will it be an unpredictable Brazilian Grand Prix this weekend? And who do you think's going to win? Obviously, the big news this weekend is that Lewis Hamilton for Mercedes will be taking a 5-place grid penalty for a unscheduled ICE change. So he will, wherever he finishes in the sprint tomorrow, he will be demoted 5 places on the grid. So it's important that he has a good sprint tomorrow. And also, will Max Verstappen be able to continue his hot streak at the moment? Obviously, will he extend his championship lead this weekend? That's the big question. We just don't know that. It's an unpredictable weekend in Brazil. Anything can happen. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. David, anything you'd like to ask me about, please comment down below. I'd love to hear your opinions. I'm at Chaz's Squash. You can hear my opinions by dropping a comment and liking, subscribing to my YouTube channel. And yes, guys, we'll keep you posted on the F1. That's all from me tonight. I hope you enjoy the barnstorming F weekend action for the Sal Paulo Grand Prix in Brazil. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.